saying this is an add-on to library, which I personally think is ridiculous.
Okay. We'll have public discussion.
I understand, but he's saying that, and you said we
Commissioner
weren't going to
McGarity.
talk, and I am going to talk,
Okay.
and what he said is not true.
Okay.
Commissioner
Making it
McGarity.
sound like the 4 people on the property committee agree with him. We didn't. I didn't. You know that, Dan.
Okay.
Commissioner McGarity, I have been sitting here for months where every time I have opened my mouth, you have immediately responded and made accusations, many of which I do not believe are accurate, including the ones you've made now. I have chosen not to engage in a public debate about these issues, and the property committee has made recommendations. They were based on the property committee. You and I can disagree. I've never said what I believe publicly, even though you continue to ascribe views to me.
Are you telling me the library was part of the plan? Is that what you're telling me right
That
now?
is not what I said. I have never
Yes, you
said
did.
that. I have said, and as this committee, and as you look at what is publicly available, we originally proposed a municipal services building and a police station. When last May, the library came to this board and explained the situation with the library, we proceeded to consider the library as a responsible thing. When the committee was unable to agree, as we have said, ad nauseum, at that point, we brought the issue to this board so that this board could decide. So it has been an evolving process. The majority of the committee has believed that we need to be responsible, that it would be irresponsible to at least not consider the library. Whether we approve it is a vote of this board. And that is the goal. That is what I have said consistently, and I've never said anything else. And while you disagree with me, which is your prerogative, that does not mean that what I say is inaccurate any more than what you believe is different. We disagree. That's fine. I've still never even given my opinions. I will give them when we vote. But my role as chair of the committee is to bring to the public the information, because the public is entitled to know. The public, which has been to multiple meetings, is entitled to give us their input so that this board, when we vote, will make a decision based on the information the committee is given, the public is given, the library's given, and hopefully it will be the responsible and appropriate decision, because it is an important decision that impacts this community for decades.
Okay. All right. We'll have time to speak openly at the.
Well, I just wanted understood that Mr. Siegel is saying it wrong when he's saying we're all in
Okay.
agreement and all that.
We'll have
The
discussion.
library was not part of it.
Can I just
Okay.
Okay.
point of
No,
clarification? That's all I'm asking.
Go ahead.
Okay. Point of clarification. So we're going to discuss it at the March meeting, all right? And then
Correct.
at that meeting, we're going to make a decision whether to put it on the agenda at the next Monday meeting.
It will be on the agenda.
We'll be there.
Right. If
But-
we decide not to keep
Yeah,
it,
no,
we
I
can
understand.
table it and move it to the
I
next
just wanted,
meeting.
like, the woman that said, we're not going to vote for the funding for it then,
No,
right?
absolutely
Yeah, I'll
not.
just- all-
We're
absolutely
just,
not.
all we're
I'm
voting
not trying to
for
fight you,
is
I'm
to
just
give
clarifying.
give direction to the property
Look,
committee
look,
and to
So
the.
we're not-
Here's
No,
actually.
that's not, I don't want to
No,
get
no.
into.
Here is actually just a pretty good example. We had a lot of debates about the Community Recreation Environmental Center. One of those debates was about a pool. And if you recall, we had to make a decision long before we signed a contract to build that building.
Correct.
Long before we spent a dime on that.
But we
had to
didn't
make
do
a
it in
decision.
2 months, Larry. We did
had
it
to-
in probably, how long was that?
18 years.
been kicking around. The idea.
It wasn't 2 months.
Look,
18
I was
years.
just trying to explain something, but you want to engage on this, D'Amelio. Mr.
Oh, no,
D'Amelio,
I'm
I have been waiting. I have been practicing. for
Well, I'm
next week's
practicing
meeting,
too,
okay?
Larry. Let me tell you something. I'm not
Tell
trying
you
to be
this,
difficult.
okay?
All I'm saying
I'm
is.
saying the idea
I'm
that
not trying
this
to be
is 2
difficult.
months old, as opposed to something
I
the
asked the
library's
point
been
for
talking about for
clarification.
10
I didn't
years.
ask. I asked him.
All right,
The
enough.
idea that we
Enough,
act
really.
glacially, the
Really.
idea that we're acting too fast here is comical, okay?
I don't think it's comical.
This is
It's-
just,
it's-
all we're
it's
acting
money.
on. all
Why
we're
is it
acting
comical?
on-
The money from Haverford State came from Goldenberg and Polly that we agreed upon. This money is coming from the taxpayers.
Okay, all right. We will have discussion on this at the March Commissioners meeting. Thank you very much. Good night.
Voted in favor of? Are those the 2 votes, or is it, I'm not being clear. The plan that Mr. Bogosian had suggested was to separate those elements into three different elements, meaning administration building being a separate place from the police station and the library.
Correct.
So will the vote next week?
I know where you're going.
Okay.
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 The vote, I'm sorry about that microphone. The vote next month, I'm sorry, the vote for the March meeting will be on where we send the property committee to. Whether we send them to work on a library in the municipal services building, or renovate the existing building, okay? Or there may be other plans on the table. There will be discussion, open discussion with the Board of Commissioners, and then we will either vote for it, decide not to do it, or whatever. A myriad of things could happen at that meeting. But there will be public discussion. Gary's proposal will be discussed, I'm sure, but there'll be a lot of things discussed at that meeting. And then a decision may be made at that meeting for which way for the property committee to go. We're not spending any money at the meeting. We're not going to do any thing. It's just which way we want the property committee to go. And, okay. I'm sorry.
But does that mean that the decision could be that the administration building and the police station would definitely be set at the Scadian property? Because that affects the funds available for the library, and I'm just concerned about the library, once again, being put off and not really dealt with, and nothing adequate really ends up happening.
Well, that'll be discussed at that meeting. Okay? Please. Yeah, we have to vote on it. This is just which way we're going. Go ahead.
Does it need to be on?
Yeah, it should be on, please.
No, I'm so infuriated that he gets on news. I'm sorry, and I'm going to say it.
Thank you. I'm Cheryl Forsty-Gropp. I live at 107 Landaff Road, Ward 2. And I would very much like to thank you for having this meeting after rescheduling it from last week. Is it my understanding you want to have another open forum session during your next working meeting in March?
Correct.
I would very much plead for that meeting to not be in this venue, but be somewhere where we can have more people come and participate in the discussion, because this does not represent, I believe, the full scope of support for, or just opinions about what could happen for the future. So please think about another venue.
We have the middle. We have the middle school for that.
We do?
Yes. Am I correct in saying we do?
Because you said before it would be here in this room.
Well, we are actually going to make that decision because we felt that this was more than enough room. Again, we also had other township business to conduct, but can we use the middle
Yeah,
middle
sure.
school?
We can
Yes,
put it at the
we
middle
can.
school. Yeah.
Well, if they can fit us.
We actually have it on standby.
We have it on
It's
standby.
not 100%, but we have it on standby.
No, I think it'd be excellent if we could get the business of the township and all that into places where there's better parking, more modern facilities, more comfort for people. But
All right,
I
all
don't
right.
mean to go there. I'm not
well,
talking about it till next month.
The next meeting we will have at the middle school, barring any acts of God. Okay?
Is that gentleman want to speak that just came in?
Yeah. No, he's good. All right. With
Mr.
that,
President,
meeting adjourned. Yes.